It all started when her mother passed away during COVID, and so now I know that it is possible to die of a broken heart.
I would go to the hospital and tell the hospital, listen, I'm having heart problems. I feel pressure in my heart. I'd go there and then they would put me to a heart machine and put those little electrodes all around me. And then after 20 minutes, they say, I'm all right. A couple weeks pass, I'm now at my doctor's office. I tell my doctor, I say, listen, something's wrong. The doctor said, you just seen a specialist 3 months ago. There's nothing wrong. I said, listen, I'm gonna be on a plane in the next 3 to 4 months because I'll be flying out to my daughter's. I need to see a specialist. He told me his exact words, well, by the time you see a specialist, it's gonna be out a couple weeks. I said, well, it would make me feel better if I know that I'm going to see a specialist, and that way this, I'll have some answers, because these little pills and the machine is not doing it.
Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024 will always be a date stamped into my memory as the day I almost lost my mother.
Looking on my chest, and the lady kept going, ooh, ah, and I'm like, excuse me, what does that mean? And she goes, I'll be right back. And I'm like, okay. So then I started looking at the monitor, and all of a sudden I hear these, like a stampede. So I look up, and there's like 7 to 10 people following behind the lady who just did the test on me, and they're coming my way. And I'm like, excuse me, can I help you? They said, don't move. Don't move. Let me see. One took my arm. One took my other hand. The other ones were on the monitor. They're saying, you have a 9.5-inch tear on your aorta, and it's spewing out blood. You need to go in emergency right now. And I said, wait. I didn't put in for this.
Basically, Miss Williams had what's called a type A aortic dissection. Okay, an aortic dissection is anytime you have a tear in the aorta, which is the main blood vessel coming out of the heart. That tear can then basically propagate to anywhere in the body, leading to either rupture of the aorta, which means you bleed out, or that tear can go in and actually cause issues with your other organs because it's occluding or stopping blood from going to your major organs. Some of those can be your brain, where people can have a stroke from this. It can be your heart, where you can actually have a heart attack on top of everything that's going on. Or it can go and occlude blood flow to your legs, and some people actually come in with a cold leg that has not been getting blood supply for a while. So anytime you hear the word aortic dissection, it's an emergency. Okay, the type that you likely had for a while. You told me you've had chest pain on and off for years, right? Since your mom passed, and then it finally got worked up. So at some point when your aorta tore, you're one of the lucky ones who lived through that original episode. And then when you got worked up for your chest pain, that's when we incidentally found that your aorta was almost 9 centimeters. Okay, normal is 2.5. 9 is this big.
My mother's known for her dramatics, but this was different as she struggled to get the words out. Nene, I'm scared. Please come home. I'm hearing the words operation, come home.
And when they take me out of the ambulances, I'm talking about before I'm even going into the room, there's a long line of people on both sides waiting for me to get there. And you ever see where on TV where there's people above looking at the surgery? There was people above up there, and I'm like just crying because I'm just like, I didn't put in for this. When I get into the surgery, they tell me They took off all my clothes, all my jewelry, and they said they started connecting all the needles and machines to me, and I had, like, we're talking about the whole room. I had 4 or 5 doctors around me.
The risk of an acute type A dissection, if we don't do anything about it, 50% of people would die within the first 48 hours. And really, for every hour that you wait to go to the operating room, your mortality risk increases as we go. Okay, so and then the risk of the operation with any repair of a type A dissection is about 20 to 25% nationwide. Okay, and to put that into perspective, when I do my normal day-to-day open heart surgery, the risk of my patient dying is less than 1%. So to do an open heart surgery with the risk of 20 to 25% mortality, you know, is a big operation. By the time we started your case, I think it was close to 9 p.m. So this was over the course of the night. We were done in the morning. You had a lot of bleeding. So we actually packed everything, because the bleeding at this point was not even surgical, it was just your body's reaction to the big operation, the inflammation. So we packed everything, took you to the took you back to the ICU, and let you recover there for a few hours, just let things kind of dry up. Took you back to the operating room the same day, later in the day. And then all the bleeding had stopped because we'd given enough time for your body to kind of recoup. And then we were able to close everything up. You woke up right away.
When I woke up, it was like a weight has been lifted. I just felt so light and so, I want to say, free. To the point that I was trying to get up, and unbeknownst to me, I had all kinds of wires connected to me, and the lady, when I get up, they push me down. They're like, no, what you just went through, you can't shock your body. And I was like, I'm okay. And they could, amazed that I'm even woke up so soon.
The first 24 hours after the surgery is always the most crucial time. You were relatively stable. We just had to kind of keep up with the bleeding for a little bit, and then after the first day, you know, you did all the right things and you progressed pretty well out of the operating room.
Can you remember your first Sunday back at church?
And then Sonia is back in the building. You know, I try my best not to tell everybody else's story and all their business, right? But, you know, after you've sat with people in hospitals, not knowing what God would do, but to see you back in this building after having open heart surgery, blessing God, talking about the God that still loves you. God is good. God is good. God is amazingly good. So yeah, that grabbed my heart. I wanted to make sure I acknowledged that up front, as that just grabbed me.
I begged the doctors. I wanted to go to church. They've been telling me that if I go to church, I have to sit there in the little pew and have a little walker. And I'm like, I don't use a walker now. So I was able to. So when I want to say April 1st. Call me a fool, but I sure did show up April 1st. They said I couldn't leave or couldn't attend church at least until June or July. preferably August. But I was there, I want to say April 1st, and sitting right there in the front and hearing God's word and all those things that they said I couldn't do. Okay, praising the Lord, up on my feet, thanking God that he made a way. Because of him, I'm still here. Because of him, I'm still living. Because of him, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
You know, going forward, you know, and I've been doing this with you, is you just need serial CT scans, because if it happened in one place, you want to make sure nothing else is happening in, you know, any other parts of the aorta going forward. The most important thing for this is keeping your blood pressure under control, and making sure that, you know, the rest of your aorta is not seeing high blood pressure. And that actually brings me to, you know, how do you prevent this, right? And how do you catch this in a lot of patients? And it's tricky. It's tricky because it's a very, generally very not a symptomatic condition. Most people don't have a lot of symptoms until it gets to be really big, okay? So I mentioned your aorta was, you know, close to 9 centimeters, but normally we would consider operating on someone electively, meaning, you know, you schedule an operation, have you come in and fix it when it's close to 5 centimeters. But oftentimes, even at 5 centimeters, people don't have symptoms because it's slow growing, it's a lot of room in the chest, you know, and generally people don't feel or have any symptoms until it tears or until it becomes a dissection. So what I caution people is, you know, in general, be healthy, don't smoke, make sure your diabetes is under control. Smoking and diabetes are very inflammatory for your blood vessels. And even if your blood pressure is not high, it can cause the lining of your aorta to thin, to become inflamed, so it's more susceptible to tears, to growth. And then the most important thing is blood pressure. Keep your blood pressure under control, because the higher blood pressure the aorta sees, the more it's going to expand and stretch. Okay, and there's no shrinking it once it stretches. Aside from that, this is a rare thing. I think we don't know how prevalent an aortic dissection is, because most people don't make it to the hospital when they have it. But we estimate that it's about 1 to 3 people, get this, in 100,000 patients.
Wow.
So in your normal average population, it's about 1 to 3 people for every 100,000 people. Okay, so it's quite rare. We do see a lot of it here and at Stanford, just because we're a center where a lot of people get sent for this operation. When you have, a lot of people have vague chest pains, a lot of people have, you know, symptoms that they kind of push aside and say, oh, it's probably nothing, it can't be me, it won't happen to me, it's not a heart attack, right? But this is kind of one of those situations where, you know, you should go see your doctor whenever you have some concerns, especially when that concern is chest pain, because it can be a myriad of things, you know. Chances are, for the most part, it will be nothing, but at least you'll have that peace of mind that it's nothing.
I just want people to understand and realize that they have to be their own advocate in regards to their health. When it comes to your health, be your own advocate. I cannot stress that enough. Because how many times did I share with you that my chest hurts? How many times did I go to the doctor? They wanted to give me meds. I said, I need to see a specialist. And if it wasn't for the grace of God, I wouldn't be here right now. I want to thank you, the congregation, my church family. It's because of you that I'm still here. your prayers that I'm healed. You talking and praying and going before God that I'm still standing. Because I kid you not, I have, to this day, I still have doctor's appointments. But not one of my doctors had failed to ask me. They're like, how are you so healed? How did you get out and walking around in less than 3 months? I said, because I have a praying church. I have a relationship with God. So thank you. And there's anything you can ever do for somebody, is praying. Because look, prayer works. Prayer works. Thank you.
Take action now. Today's the best start. Listen to your body, listen to your heart. Oh, 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 yeah, yeah. Shift your mind, body, and soul together for the edge. Tools and information that helps you grow. Take action now. Today's the best start.